0.1 seconds, one fingertip, one bucket away from the Denver Nuggets quite possibly being out of these playoffs. But Aaron Gordon is Superman, and Jamal Murray just had a Jamal Murray type of playoff performance.
Finds Murray. Murray finds the bottom of the cup. Murray on the runaway. Kawhi chases, and Murray!
In the span of 3 days, the Denver Nuggets have gone from down 2-1, with the entire NBA world thinking the series was over.
Largest loss margin of the season at 34, 117 to 83, your final.
I think this series is over, brother. I really do.
To now being up 3-2. And it wasn't just Charles Barkley. Everyone thought the series was over. Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon were injured. Kawhi Leonard had his shot on automatic. Jamal Murray couldn't deal with the pressure of Chris Dunn. And Nikola Jokic was stressed out on the sidelines. Not to mention, apparently, there was tension and dismay in the locker room. Well, how things can change in the span of a few days. Because now the Denver Nuggets are up 3-2 after a dominant performance against the Clippers and have a very real chance at making it to the second round against the OKC Thunder. And if Jamal Murray is going to play like this, the Denver Nuggets could beat anyone. No, I mean it. The Denver Nuggets could beat anyone. We've already seen them win a championship with this core, and this was the Jamal Murray that helped them win a championship. I mean, we should have known it was going to be a big Murray game when on the first play, he split the double, getting all the way to the rim for the dunk. But for the most part, this was just a masterclass in shooting from Jamal. Mid-range, three-pointers, pull-ups, fadeaways, you name it, he was knocking down absolutely everything. Look at him here getting the screen from DJ, and then look at the movement to his left. That is nasty, the separation he creates there. 30 seconds later, again he's moving off the ball, and again he's just toying with Zubac, who is trying to blitz him, but Murray avoids it, getting to his spot, and this time he's fading right. Those are two of the toughest shots you could make, fading to either side with the defender draped all over him, and he made both of them in the span of 30 seconds. And that just continued all night long, with no bigger shot than this one. After the Clippers had mounted a bit of a comeback late in the fourth quarter, Nuggets fans were definitely experiencing a bit of PTSD, but that's when Jamal decided to close the game for good. He gets the handoff from Gordon, and with Dunn all over him, look at the little shoulder bump mixed in with a bit of a hesitation to create that separation before stopping on a dime, pivoting inside, and knocking down the fadeaway over Zubac. And this is the Jamal Murray experience. This is the reality of Jamal Murray and why he can be frustrating, but also why he can be so absolutely incredible, because his game is so dependent on incredibly tough shot making, which we have seen lead this team to a championship and have some of the best playoff performances you could ever hope for from someone who hasn't even been an all-star, but it can also lead to some lesser games. But this was one of those games where everything was on automatic, where he made all of the right shots at all of the right times, and he did it whilst making one free throw. And do you want to hear how he got the free throw? It was a technical foul. Not a single play was he fouled, or at least he didn't go to the free throw line for any of those plays. Just pure buckets of tough shot making. And when he has it going, there is almost nothing anyone can do to stop it. And if he continues to play even close to this level, well, the Denver Nuggets, like I said, can beat anyone. And this was long overdue, to the point where before the game, I may or may not have tweeted this about Jamal Murray's recent playoff scoring. Now, in that same tweet, I did mention I believe he could turn it around. That was the reality over his last 16 games. In other words, the last 2 years in the playoffs, he had averaged 20 points a game on 20 shots a game. That's just not good enough. This, on the other hand, this we can get behind. And it wasn't just Murray who had a breakout performance. Mr. Russell Westbrook, take a bow. I'm clapping if you can't hear. Take a bow. That, I'm not doing something else. I'm clapping. 3 weeks ago, he was unplayable. He was a locker room cancer. He was the reason Michael Malone and Calvin Booth got fired. Well, he was just the reason the Nuggets took a 3-2 lead in this series. Because if we go back to Game 4, despite the Nuggets winning that game, it came at a cost. The cost of every single starter playing heavy minutes. Actually, the heaviest number of minutes by a starting group in a playoff game outside of overtime in in over 20 years. And this was because, well, it's because Calvin Booth has some things to answer for, and the bench is absolutely terrible, scoring 4 points that entire game. And if you want to hear something crazy, there has not been a single 3-point shot made by anyone on the bench not named Russell Westbrook. I don't know if that's crazy or sad or pathetic or all of the above, but luckily Russell Westbrook decided to not only make 3-point shots in this game, but he did it all. He was walking into mid-range shots, he was getting to the rim for and ones, he was bringing energy on defense, he was trash talking, of course. We know Russ is going to have his ups and downs, but his ups are just better than any player on this bench, and alongside Jamal Murray, this is why the Nuggets won the game. And he has now been a big reason for them winning 2 of the 3 games this series. Not bad for someone on a minimum contract who apparently should have been out of the league and unplayable in this series. Now, in saying all of this, those were the guys who stepped up the most, the guys who out-delivered and outperformed. It doesn't mean it wasn't a team effort. This was probably the most team-oriented and best all-around performance from the Denver Nuggets all year long, to the point where they put up 131 points against the 3rd best defense in basketball. You don't do that without a team effort, and people will see the stat line from Nikola Jokic and think it was a terrible game. And I'm not about to tell you it was his best game, but this is who Nikola Jokic is. He is still capable of making a huge impact whilst only scoring 13 points, and he's capable of doing that because of how the defense plays him. He was getting double teamed off the ball at times. They were helping over onto him at all times, because last game, when they decided to single coverage him at times, he scored 36 points and absolutely dominated the game as a scorer. This is what he does, and this is why his team benefits so much from his presence. The same way guys like Steph Curry have gravity, Nikola Jokic has gravity, and he does it with his screening, his playmaking, his shooting, everything, and that led to such a great performance. Maybe not his best performance, but he absolutely still made an impact. Not to mention, he's been really good defensively this series. Yeah, I know some people don't want to hear that. Some people don't even want to acknowledge that. No, he's been really good this series, and it's plays like this which are incredibly impressive. Watch as Bogdanovic gets the handoff. Jokic comes to prevent the pull-up. He then quickly rotates back to Zubac, and as the ball gets thrown into Zoo, Jokic fronts him and gets the steal. That is an incredibly impressive defensive play. The kind of play that you see from guys like Draymond Green. Not saying he's Draymond Green defensively, but that should be highlighted as much as any great block. Now, you know what should be highlighted more than any great block in almost any play in NBA history? What Aaron Gordon did in Game 4, potentially saving the Nuggets season. And the highlight will be what everyone remembers from Aaron Gordon, maybe for the rest of his career, alongside being robbed in the dunk contest. But don't forget everything else Aaron Gordon does, and this series has been a perfect example of that. From his defensive versatility, to his rebounding, to the playmaking, the shooting improvement, getting to the rim, taking advantage of mismatches, Aaron Gordon is the perfect Swiss Army knife for any team looking to win a championship. It is a reason the Denver Nuggets took the leap when they traded for Aaron Gordon, and there is a reason, despite him only having one functioning calf and apparently not being able to jump, which, that might have been a little bit of a lie, but apparently not being able to move much at all, he is still one of the most impactful players on the floor, and that's because he just does absolutely everything you could ask for, including coming up with tip dunks with 0.1 seconds remaining. And honestly, you could give praise to everyone on this roster. Michael Porter Jr. playing great with one functioning arm to go along with Aaron Gordon's one functioning calf. They just make a great duo. And then Christian Braun giving it to James Harden. After last game in which James Harden was ready to throw hands with Christian Braun and Aaron Gordon, well, Christian Braun decided that instead of throwing hands, he would just lock up James Harden all game long. Ball pressuring him, getting in his face, blocking his shots, turning him over, forcing him into playing like he was Ben Simmons at times instead of James Harden. In general, this was the best Nuggets performance I have seen all season long. It started with Jamal Murray, but it ended with Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic on defense. Yeah, Nikola Jokic. That's all I'm going to say. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like on the video would be cool. Most importantly, have a great day. Bye.